G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Friday the 7th of June 2019 and the time here is 12:10 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, unless, this is mainly for the Australians, and I know in America you know about it as well, you've been living under a rock. A very big dynamic got changed yesterday with the Australian Federal Police raiding the ABC. We'll discuss that and a few other events. As always, I'd like to promote my great sponsor, Totally Rawsome, who make golden activated turmeric paste. If you have not tried it, you need to. If you're older or you have joint pain, this stuff is a godsend, folks, and it is unbelievable. Seriously, the reviews I get back from people say, thank God you gave me this stuff. It really does work. There's no two ways about it. It's the best I've ever tried. This is their contact info, mailing list, and bundle farmers market every Sunday, 6 till 12 a.m. Alrighty. Look, as I said, two things. I'll talk about the ABC thing in a second. The Reserve Bank dropped the interest rate. And as predicted, the banks aren't going to pass it on. They may give you a token bit here and there, and they may even under pressure drop the rates. But look, if you think they're going to keep dropping rates, you're kidding yourself. The intrabank, which is the loaning between banks, lending rate is going that way, up. It's not going down. And a matter of fact, it's actually started to freeze up. This is why they're lowering interest rates, because the intrabank lending rate is either non-existent. They don't want to loan to each other because they're scared that the person they borrow money to might go broke, or they just don't want to loan any money at all, or the rate's too high. You know, it's just extortionate. Now, Australian banks have something like $40 trillion in debt that they owe other people, or that they have in debt levels. Say that again. They have nearly $40 trillion in debt. Now, put yourself in, I don't know, Bank of America. Let's just say Bank of America. Westpac rings you up. Any chance you can loan us $100 billion? Sure. There's a new rate. Now, what I said to you before is exactly the way this is going to pan out. Inflation is currently going up. Ordinarily, interest rates would go up with inflation to try and curb inflation. But it's not. Inflation's taking off because there's so much debt in the system that the only thing that can keep this going now is debt. Have a look around you. Go around your local shopping centres and look at the things that are closing down and everything that's going online, people going out of work. It's a fool's reality. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I'll say that again. It's a fool's reality. You know, people think that this is all going to, you know, happy days, things are going to get fixed up overnight. That ain't going to happen. So we've discussed this before. It's a simple fix. You don't worry about it. You just get prepared. Buy food, buy water, buy veggies, start a veggie garden, buy some chooks. You know, tomorrow I'm going to go and buy another 5 chooks. I'll have 12 chooks all up. It's a dozen eggs a day. You can actually sustain your family on 12 eggs a day. Hard, but yeah, you can do it if you have to. Put it this way, would you rather have 12 eggs a day than none? Or would you rather have 2 eggs a day, 2 chickens, or none? You know what I mean? Those 2 chickens may end up being the thing that saves your life. Okay. Let's just talk about why Trump went to America, England, etc., etc. And why everybody was kissing his ass. And they were literally kissing his ass. That's because they are 110% out of, as much as they're talking about doing a deal with Brexit and that, by law, they actually came out on the 23rd of May or April or whatever it was they set in law. That was the date they left. Forget about all the other theatre and everything else. They actually left on that date. Regardless of the fact that they had elections and all that stuff. So the reason they need the US is because they now need a new trading partner. Think about that. The UK, one of the stable economies of the world, needs a new trading partner, because otherwise if they don't, they're in shit street. They are not going to leave the Brexit apart from anything else with a hard exit. It's not going to happen. And they're going to lose billions and billions. And then because they leave, the EU is going to make it extremely hard for them. Don't even think that that's not what's going to happen. It is. There's not going to be any hard borders. Whoever comes in, the next Prime Minister, is just going to say, we're going to leave. That's it. We're left. Bang. Bye. Simple as that. So get prepared. If you're watching this and you're in the UK, that's what's going to happen. That's why Trump was in America. Because they're going to leave. They're just going to leave. They're not going to stay. What would you do if you're in America's position? I'd be saying to them, you leave, you get everything you want. You stay in what's name any longer, you get nothing from us. That includes military, by the way. Okay, let's talk about what happened at the ABC. This is the front page of the ABC today. Grave concern. Ooh, what happened there? That's weird. That's never happened before. Okay. Now, see everything that this is saying? Well, honestly, folks, you have to take this with a pinch of salt. These guys are so far left, you can't even see them anymore. They're gone, right? They're a bunch of tree-hugging, nefarious bloody lefties. This is the Morrison government putting their foot down, because if you want to, it's very interesting, right? And this is going to surprise you. If you go on Sky News Australia and you watch their breakdown that they did of the ABC's broadcast of the election, right? A couple of them did a very good breakdown. It's no different than what's going on in America between Republicans and the Democrats. It's that bad. This is our national broadcaster. Now, they actually full pelt went for Morrison and the Conservative Party. Now, remember, they are supposed to be independent. So you're not supposed to have, that's why we pay our taxes to the ABC. That's why they're giving our money. They're supposed to be independent. Now, you can't have the ABC running around doing 90% on Labor Democrat side and only 10% on the Republican Liberal side, and think that you're getting free media or an unbiased opinion. They are now so far left, the government's now saying enough is enough. Now, I wouldn't mind betting that this is going to go a lot further. You're going to see a lot of heads roll out of this at the ABC. They're going to start chucking reporters in jail or sacking them or various other nefarious things, because they have to, the Morrison government, for the sake of Australia, has to get rid of the ABC in its current form. Regardless of how they do it, they can't just, okay, put yourself in Morrison's position. How is he going to clean up the ABC? No matter what he does, regardless of what he does, right, everyone's going to moan. So send in the AFP, Australian Federal Police, charge people, give people in Parliament, the Prime Minister or whomever, a moral backbone, for want of a better term, something more realistic to stand up and wave in front of people and say, look, this is how bad it's gotten there. These guys are criminals. That's where this is going. And that's why in the next couple of weeks, you'll see a lot of journalists start to leave the ABC. They'll either be sacked or jailed. It's actually turned into a totally corrupt organisation. It's supposed to be non-biased. It's so left, it's unbelievable. And everybody knows it. And it's now time to clean it up. Now, Morrison got the election mandate from people to say just that, clean this shit up. We're sick of these lefty tree-hugging wankers who don't give us any jobs, don't give us any money, don't give us anything. And by the way, they're the friggin' minority, not the majority. So you have people starting to wake up around Australia, which is why the Liberals won the election, saying, well, hang on a minute, you know, all this transgender shit, all this bloody, you can't say this in school, you can't do this out at work, you can't do this at home, you can't, everyone's had enough. And you're going to see these guys hotbedding it on hot coals at the ABC. I don't watch any of it anyway, but you're going to see some outrageous things said. Absolutely outrageous. But the moralistic version is that Morrison needs something to pin on the ABC so he can actually take a lot of these people out. And that's exactly where this is going to go. Might have hit a reporter or two, but they've got a food chain that goes up. So they're going to go, okay, well, why did you allow this reporter to do that? You're gone. Then they'll go to the next one. Why did you allow that guy to do that? You're gone. In the end, I don't think Ida Buttrose is going to last any longer than 6 months, to be honest with you. Tell me I'm wrong if you want, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I think Morrison's going to place another person in there because this is going to get so heavy for Ida Buttrose. She's just going to walk. It's going to say, oh, look, I can't be asked with this. And that's great because then Morrison will then put in someone who can actually bring our national broadcaster back in line and actually report on the right things. Hope that makes sense. Okay, guys. What you're looking at is the Australian dollar. Now, remember I said when interest rates get taken down, the Australian dollar is going to go on a downward spiral. Now, be very warned. That's all I can say. Being forewarned is being prepared. Okay? If you've got a trip coming up, then, oh, God forbid, I'd hate to be in your shoes. This is what's happened to the Australian dollar in the last couple of days. Now, you're going to think I'm crazy in saying this, but the Morrison government wants the Australian dollar at about 50 cents because of exports. Why do I say that? Well, there's a trade war going on at the moment, folks, if you haven't noticed. And unfortunately, the Australian dollar or the Australian commodities is caught in the middle of all that. So we need to start making sure that we can export stuff at a cheaper, that is cheaper, to compensate for the fact that our wages and everything are so high. We need the Australian dollar down to about 55 cents. So it's got about 15 cents to drop. And I think they'd be happier if it was 55, 60. I'd say 55. Not going to be good if you want to travel anywhere. You remember the days when it was $1.10 to the American dollar? So look, there's some scary times coming up. But you need to understand that they need to drop this Australian dollar. And it's going to happen. If you read any of the parameters, right, this is on Trading Economics. I'm going to go back here. Back one more. Okay, look down the left-hand side here. See Australia? This is on the home page, Trading Economics homepage, right? See Australia down here? Click on Australia if you're in Australia, if you are an Australian, and then go through it. And you can click on any one of these and you can see that we are in deep, deep doo-doo. Okay? So, if you're an Australian, you need to follow this really closely. Have a look at that. That's the Australian 10-year bond. It's now down to 148. And it's going to keep on going. As I said, being forewarned is being forearmed and prepared. It's here, folks. Everything we've been talking about, they've run out of ideas. They can't do anything else. They literally can't do anything else. There's going to be a reset soon, no matter what happens. Trump's prepared to wear it, so it looks like it's going to happen soon. All right, let's do the prayers. Okay, this is the good one today. Verse of the day. So that Christ, or God, may dwell in your hearts through faith, and I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, or God, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Wow, pretty good. Okay, folks, and as always, we're going to finish with the Lord's Prayer. Now, interestingly to note that yesterday the Pope approved the changing of the Lord's Prayer again. Fact. This is now the 10th time it's been changed, apparently, in the last couple of years. So, what is the original? Who knows? But they changed it again yesterday. So here we go. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. All right, folks. Time's up. God bless. Prep out.